This is a question that we've been asked quite a lot recently, both individually as staff but also collectively as the museum. And whilst we here at the museum think that we'll be busier than ever whilst the redevelopment is taking place, it's perfectly understandable that there are lots of questions about what will actually be going on behind the scenes during the redevelopment project. I'm just going to talk about three main areas of work which can be summed up as packing, planning and interpreting. The first of those, packing, refers to the fact that for each and every object here at the museum we need to record, document and then pack the object safely, move it off-site to keep it safely stored away whilst the building work is taking place. The second area of work that I refer to is planning. Now, we are very much concerned with creating a new art gallery museum for Bedford, so although it will be within the existing buildings, visitors to the site will see a great change when they do come back. And this means that we're doing an awful lot of work, doing some very careful planning with our project architects and also the exhibition designers to make sure that the building works effectively. Of course, alongside that, we're planning our future learning programme, we're planning our future exhibition programme, we're developing a new website, we're going to be developing a new brand and identity, we're going to be developing an awful lot of digital content, both for the website and for use in the new galleries. And of course, we'll be planning and delivering a big training project with new staff in terms of the operation of the new museum and art gallery. The third area of work I refer to is interpretation. Now, I've said already that we're creating a new art gallery museum for Bedford, and that means that we want to rethink the way that audiences engage with the collections here. So we've started off by doing a lot of work which is still ongoing in terms of developing a new narrative framework or storyline for the museum, and from that developing some very detailed interpretation plans for each of the new galleries. And those actually require us, in practical terms, to have selected every single object that will be on display once the museum reopens, well in advance of the reopening, and subsequently doing all of the research and interpretation work. I'll just give you a small example of how that works. So this object here, it's possible to give this a very simple, brief description, which could be something like clay figurine of a horse from Cyprus, dating from around 1000 BC. Now, although that does describe this object, it's an extremely blank description. For starters, it doesn't do anything to communicate the excitement of looking at an object that's over 3,000 years old. And also, it raises more questions than it answers. So immediately you start to wonder, well, who collected this? Why is it here in Bedford? How and why was it collected? And of course, who made it originally, what was it used for, and why were clay figurines of animals like this being made in Cyprus around that time? And it's exactly these sorts of issues and questions that we want our visitors to engage with more than in the past. And if you think that when the museum reopens there'll be thousands of objects on display, it gives you an idea of the amount of work that we need to put into this. So, although I've just covered a few of the things that we'll be doing whilst the museum is closed, I hope it's given you a bit more of an insight as to what will be happening behind the scenes during the redevelopment.